Two teams historic in baseball history, the Tigers and the Reds. The Tigers have won 4 World Series titles, that last one in '84 against the San Diego Padres. And, of course, the Reds, the first professional team, have now won 5 championships. And how about this big one, of course, in 1975 over the Boston Red Sox. And these two teams together, of course, are tied in by this man, Sparky Anderson, the winningest manager in Reds and Tiger history. It's a beautiful night for baseball here in the Queen City as the Reds start interleague play. A series of 12 games coming up. Tonight, the Reds and the Tigers from Great American Ballpark. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Couch, along with Chris Welsh. Welcome to Reds Baseball. Back at GABP, we're awfully glad to see the Pirates go away and the start of interleague play now as the Tigers come in, the first of a 3-game series, and the second team to come in on this 3-team, 9-game homestand. All right, Chris, when we talk about the Tigers, you know about the man pitching tomorrow night, Justin Verlander, but in the middle of their lineup, 2 guys that could really give the Reds pitching staff some problems, Miguel Cabrera and Prince Fielder.
Well, they've got the righty-lefty enforcers in their lineup. There's no question about it. And when you put them back-to-back, it really doesn't allow a pitcher any break at all. Whether you're a right-handed pitcher or a left-handed pitcher, you've got to be able to come in there. Miguel Cabrera, maybe the best hitter right now in all the American League. We know what Prince Fielder has done over the years. This guy has come in here and simply annihilated the Reds from time to time, whether it was in Milwaukee or right here at Great American Ballpark. Both of them can spin on a fastball. Both of them now at this stage in their careers are good at setting up hitters, driving runs in, and they right now really result in the main part of their whole offense. In fact, if these guys don't do much, the Tigers aren't doing much at all. Fielder and Cabrera, 321 average, 22 home runs, and most of the RBIs. The rest of the ball club really kind of just along for the ride.
Yeah, and Prince Fielder's had no trouble at all transitioning from the National League to the American League. Meanwhile, the Reds have a pretty good 3-4 punch themselves, don't they?
Well, they really do. When you got Joey Votto in there, he's a 1-3 punch no matter what. Anybody would love to have him. Well, I said Miguel Cabrera was the best hitter in the American League. Joey Votto is the best hitter in the National League, maybe in all the major leagues. Right now, he's got a 13-game hitting streak. He's backed up by a right-hander in Brandon Phillips. And when Joey Votto gets it going and turns it over to Brandon Phillips, and Phillips is centering the baseball, he's not really your prototypical number 4 hitter, but he gives you enough of a threat, especially in this ballpark, that pitchers better not fall asleep.
Well, tonight, the first game of this series is a very nice pitching matchup. A couple of youngsters. For the Reds, Matt Latos, and for the Tigers, it's Rick Porcello. First game of the 3-game series. Reds, Tigers, coming up. Big crowd gathered here tonight at Great American Ballpark. In fact, they are expecting a sellout for the first game of this series. Reds and the Tigers. You can see the weather is just picture perfect. In fact, tonight's weather report brought to you by Thompson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drain Cleaning. Here from WKRC is Michelle Boudelet.
Another great night at the ballpark. Clear skies early, 81 degrees the temperature at the beginning of the game, 77 by the 7th inning stretch, low 70s by the end of the game. Absolutely picture perfect. For Fox Sports Ohio, I'm Local 12 meteorologist Michelle Boudelet.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Chris, let's talk pitching and start with Matt Latos.
Well, Matt Latos, you know, only 24 years old. He's coming off maybe his worst outing as a Cincinnati Red. That against the Houston Astros. They gave him a big lead. He was not able to hold it. But previous to that, he had run off a pretty good string of very impressive performances. You want to see Latos get a little more efficient so he can go deep into a ball game. This is a pretty good hitting ball club, especially the 2 guys in the middle we talked about. So he's got a pretty good challenge ahead of him. The Reds have a very nice challenge of their own in Rick Porcello. He's only 23 years old, and he's actually making his 101st start, which is the guy that made his major league debut when he was only 20 years old. He's not a high strikeout pitcher. He's a ground ball pitcher. He'll pound you with that fastball, sinking it down and in. He's got a hard slider as well. This kid's got a high ceiling down the road, and he'll be another tough customer. Keep it in the ballpark. That's the code for both these pitchers tonight.
Well, we're ready to roll from GABP. The Tigers been around since the early 1900s. The Reds, the first professional baseball team. Interleague play in Cincinnati. Brought to you by the 2012 Ford F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. By Cincinnati USA. Let us be your travel guide to Cincinnati. Visit CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Game time is Skyline time. Stop by your favorite Skyline Chili today. Ballpark filling up here in Cincinnati. The Reds have taken the field. Here's Jimmy Leland, the 7th-year manager of the Detroit Tigers, and in his 21st year overall as a skipper in the big leagues. And here's Prince Fielder. After 7 years in Milwaukee, he is 9 years now. That big contract he signed with the Detroit Tigers, and he's off to a very good start with his Tiger ball club. Here's their lineup now, brought to you by our AXA advisors. Quentin Berry filling in center field. Leads off Brennan Bosch and Miguel Cabrera. Then Prince Fielder, Delman Young, and Johnny Peralta. The bottom three, Gerald Laird gets the start tonight. Ramon Santiago batting 8th, playing 2nd. And Rick Porcello, the pitcher, will bat 9th. And here are the numbers on Matt Latos, brought to you by Jose Cuervo.
Well, start number 12 for Matt Latos, number 84 in his career. Right now he sits at an even 500 in his career. He's 31-31 right now. Also here in this year, an earned run average just under 5. So Latos is a guy that's given up 12 home runs. I think he's been rather shocked this year by how easily the ball has hit out of this ballpark. But it's one of those things that he has to stay very aggressive in the strike zone here and come right after the hitters. And that's the only way Matt Latos will be successful tonight, being aggressive.
Of course, 2 starts ago, he was the first pitcher in Reds history to give up 5 home runs in a game and still get the win. Here's our forward defensive look at the Reds. Ludwig, Heisey, and Bruce across the outfield. Cairo replacing Todd Frazier at 3rd, then Cozart. Phillips and Votto the right side. Then the battery of Brian Hannigan behind the plate, and Matt Latos pitching for the Reds. So these two clubs meeting for the 6th time in interleague play. The Tigers have won 8. The Reds have won 7 of their 15 meetings. They last met in 2006 in Detroit. They last met in Cincinnati back in 2001. So this is the Tigers' first visit to Great American Ballpark. 84 degrees game time temperature here at GABP as Quentin Berry leads things off. Berry is filling in for the injured Austin Jackson and has done a pretty good job for them. That ball is going to be into center, and here's Heisey making his 3rd wonderful defensive play in 3 days. First in left field, then in right center field against the Pirates, and now in center here against the Tigers and Quentin Berry.
Well, this is the time of year and this is the time of day where it is very difficult to play center field or left field here at Great American Ballpark. The sun is right in his eyes. Actually, when that ball came off the bat, Heisey took a step back, but he recovered very quickly, came in to get a nice catch right there. You see the shadow and the left fielder and the center fielder. Awfully hard to see the ball coming off the bat if you're standing out there.
Well, Latos gets off to a good start by getting Quentin Berry. He'll face Brennan Bosch now, and this deserves another look.
Nice catch by Heisey. That Exmo look brought to you by Performance Honda.
Well, he banged into the wall 2 nights ago out in left center. Took a hit away from Pirate catcher Rod Barajas, and then last night robbed Andrew McCutcheon with that diving play out in right center. Now here it almost looked like, as you said, he kind of broke back and then broke in a little late, but laid out for it and made the catch. Bosch, left-handed hitter, playing right field, comes into the game at 227, and he is disposed of on 3 pitches. He had 2 hits yesterday for Detroit, but he's really been having a tough go of it lately, and he's a strikeout victim.
That's a good sign right here by Matt Latos. Back-to-back really good breaking balls. Don't know whether that was his curveball or his slider, but it has good downward break. It's an early indication he's got a good feel coming out of his hand of that pitch. That is a must for him to be able to throw against a very good fastball hitting team.
So 2 quick outs and nobody on here in the Detroit first inning. Here's the former Florida Marlin and a Detroit Tiger now since 2008, Miguel Cabrera. Comes in 4th in the league in hitting at 323. 13 homers, 49 runs batted in. That's 2nd in the American League. It's from the 29-year-old, seemingly been around forever. Outfield plays him straight away. Infield has the shift on. Phillips is actually behind the bag and even a step on the third base side of second.
Not only is it difficult to see the ball if you're in center or left field, it's also tough to see the ball right now as a hitter. That batter's background, the batter's eye at dead center field reflects light. And on a sunny day like today, it's not easy to see the spin of the breaking ball, and you can see the way that Miguel Cabrera swung after it. Look at the glare right here, as you see in center field. This is what the batter looks into when he's trying to negotiate a 95-mile-an-hour fastball or an 82-mile-an-hour curveball. You don't see Miguel Cabrera take too many swings like that.
Tiger Ball Club coming off a homestand in which they had the Yankees and Cleveland in town. They lost 2 of 3 in both. In fact, their win yesterday afternoon, 7-5 over the Tribe, snapped a 3-game losing streak. They are, of course, the defending AL Central Division champions. Slowly hit. Cabrera's going to get thrown out by Cairo at first base. And a 1-2-3 inning.
One Miggy to another.
Indeed it was. Miggy gets Miggy. And the inning is over. 1/2 in the books. No score. Now Dusty Baker's ball club will take a look at Rick Porcello. Joey Votto, of course, brings his 13-game hitting streak into this one, the longest by a Reds player this year. And if he can get a hit tonight, he would equal the longest hitting streak of his career. Said a few years ago. See if he can get it done. Here's Dusty's lineup, brought to you by your AXA advisors. Cozart, Heisey, and Votto. Phillips, Bruce, and Ludwig. Cairo gets to start at third. Hannigan catches Matt Latos. Cairo starting at third due to a late scratch of Todd Frazier, who had some back spasms. Here's Rick Porcello, courtesy of Jose Cuervo.
Also known as Frederick Alfred Porcello, is only 23 years old. He was a #1 draft pick for the Tigers way back in 2007. But he's already in his 4th major league season, 41 and 34 in his lifetime. Big, tall right-hander, 6'5", 200 pounds.
And he gets Cozart, gets a strike in there to get the Reds first going. Cozart at 245, 6 home runs, 14 runs batted in, 4 for 12 in the Pirate series. And he lines this one over the head of Johnny Peralta, not into left, and a good start for the Red shortstop. Take a look at the Tigers defensively behind the right-hander Porcello, courtesy of your Ford dealers. Delman Young, the younger brother of the former Red, Dimitri Young. Quentin Berry in center, Brennan Bosch out in right. Cabrera, Peralta, Santiago, fielder, the infield third to first. Battery of the former Cardinal, Gerald Laird, catching Rick Porcello. Chris alluded to 6'5", 200, a tall, thin fellow out there from Moorestown, New Jersey. Good bunt by Cairo, but it'll roll foul. Strike one. Pardon me, Heisey. I said Cairo. That's Heisey. Heisey gets his 3rd consecutive start in center field due to the injury to Drew Stubbs. An injury that has not, as of yet, placed him on the DL, and they're hoping that it won't happen.
Well, I talked to Drew at length today, and it's one of these things where you pull a muscle essentially in your rib cage. It's in the back of his rib cage, and he can't do a whole lot. Right now, he's simply just resting it, not able to do any kind of baseball or recovery stuff yet, so he hopes that it'll calm down, maybe be ready beginning of the week.
Heisey into left center, and Barry will run that ball down. Tagging is Cozart, and he will move up 90 feet to second base.
Well, that's heads-up base running, I'll tell you. And I know there are a lot of people watching tonight that have been played amateur baseball or coached amateur baseball around the Cincinnati area. And this is the way you were brought up, to take advantage of little things like this. Look, you see Cozart immediately upon seeing that ball going into the gap, he's going to put himself in a position. He sees the ball coming in. He's going to make it easily. That's the way you get yourself in scoring position and help out the hottest hitter in the league.
Here's Votto now. Reds had 2 hits with runners in scoring position in each game of the Pirates series, and they have been getting better in that department. Of course, no one's better than the man at the plate right now. Joey Votto comes in with a .477 average with runners in scoring position. That's first in the league. .13-game hitting streak for Joey. Votto yesterday 3 for 5 on 4 multi-hit games by the Reds. He comes in 1 notch above Cabrera in the top 10 in the league in hitting. Votto checks in at number 3. Interesting, Chris, in that neither of these teams have faced the guy that's on the hill tonight. Only Fielder has hit against Latos before, and only Ludwig has faced Porcello before.
Yeah, neither of them are able to face each other in spring training either. Sometimes that's a giveaway where there will not be an official during the regular season matchup, but guys will know each other from spring training. But of course, it's been several years now since the Reds have been in Florida in spring training, and Matt Latos has never trained in Florida, having always been with the San Diego Padres or the Reds, as they're always out in Arizona.
Toward the middle, diving stop there by the second baseman Santiago, but a wide throw, and Votto is aboard. Cozart will move up, and it's first and third with 1 out.
The guy has a knack. I mean, we've seen teams go around and try to play the shift on Joey Votto, play him on the ground to the right side. The Detroit Tigers decide not to do that, and he tries to get that ball up the middle, and only that nice glove play by Santiago right here saves a run.
That'll be ruled a base hit for Votto, so give him a 14-game hitting streak. That now equals the longest streak in his career. He set that back in 2009. So here's Phillips. We talked about the 3-4 punch of these two teams. Votto, the number 3, gets the hit. Phillips now with a chance. A tapper, swinging bunt. They'll go to the plate with that throw from the pitcher Porcello, and it gets away from Laird. Hustling over to third is Votto. Phillips safely aboard at first. Sliding in amongst all that was Zach Cozart, and the Reds have taken a 1-0 lead.
Is this what they mean by small ball? Here's your number 4 hitter up there, barely taps it, but perfect placement. The only play Porcello has is a desperate attempt at the plate, and he's not able to get the runner. Meanwhile, heads up base runner Joey Votto, as always, he heads up over at third base. Boy, this inning has a chance to really go big time for the Reds right here. Put a big old crooked number up.
Phillips will get himself a base hit and a run batted in. That's his 31st RBI of the year. Bruce stands in there now with runners at the corners. They also will charge Porcello with an error, allowing Votto to go to third base. 3 hits in the inning, 2 infield hits, and they were by the pitcher. Reds jumped in front in all 3 games of the Pirates series early, and that's exactly what they've done here tonight against Detroit.
Boy, good looking pitch right there. Jay Bruce and everybody else in this ballpark expecting Rick Porcello there to throw a 2-0 fastball, and he's got a very good changeup, an above average breaking ball. He likes his slider, a good moving fastball, but man, that changeup really got Bruce way out in front.
Bruce 3 hits, 9 at bats in the Pirates series, including a home run. Starts the night at 263, a team leading 13 homers, team leading 37 RBIs. Looks like he chased the same pitch there, Chris.
Yeah, you know what, and that goes to show you it's not necessarily the inability of Jay Bruce to recognize a pitch, it's how good Rick Porcello sells that changeup as a fastball. He's thrown them both on 2-0 count and then a 3-1 count. Those are fastball counts. Bruce is the one that has to make the adjustment here.
Trying to add to the 1-0 lead. There's that fake to third, look to first that we talked about will go away at the end of this year.
Get a good look at it because you're not going to see it long.
Cowboy and I talked a little bit about it last night. What's your thought on that?
Bye-bye.
Yeah. No big effect. Runner going, and Bruce hits it in the air, headed toward foul ground. Santiago makes the play. That's a play that we saw earlier this year with the exact same runner at third in New York that Votto tagged and was thrown out at the plate. by the Mets second baseman. I think it was Justin Turner in that game. This time he stays put.
Well, Joey Votto in this inning has had a chance to go over there at first base and talk to his old buddy Prince Fielder. Now he's at third base talking to the hottest hitter in the American League. There they are right there, folks. Two of the sweetest swings you'll find in all of baseball.
Number 3 in the league in hitting Votto. Number 4 in the league in hitting Cabrera.
Probably each of them telling each other, hey, I've been watching video of you and you look a lot like me.
Cabrera, of course, had to move off his first base spot to make room for the big guy over there.
It did not help them defensively.
Ludwig, who had his 13th multi-home run game of his career here last night, now has the RBI chance with 2 on and 2 out. He's 0 for 2 lifetime against Porcello.
This ballpark gives up cheap home runs, but these 2 home runs by Ryan Ludwig are not in the cheap variety. That one a second deck job. I mean, he got on a hanging breaking ball, then he got a fastball just about in the same spot off the closer Hanrahan, and that maybe tied the ball game up. A 2-run home run night for Ludwig.
That one backs Cabrera up. He goes a short way to Santiago at second. They get the force out on Phillips. And the Reds settle for 1 and lead 1-0 after the first.
I think he knew, to tell you the truth, and I really don't even think he cared about streaks or records. I mean, a lot of these guys, you know, everybody else pays attention. Everybody else keeps track more than we keep track. Half the stuff we don't even know until somebody tells us. You know, we're just out there trying to perform and out there trying to do the best we can. And I know him. I mean, this guy, you know, he don't want to be hit at any time.
That storyline is brought to you by Elk & Elk. Serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And, Chris, that, of course, was Dusty talking about Chapman's run streak ending last night.
Yeah, that is something really that more people follow, fans follow, of course, with the emergence of so much information out there on the internet. I'm not so sure that the players even know those kind of streaks are alive.
Chapman hadn't allowed an earned run in his first 24 appearances to start the season, setting a new Reds franchise record and coming within 1 appearance of tying a major league record.
I would imagine a lot of opposing hitters don't know that either. They just know that he is tough as nails.
Prince Fielder leads things off here in the top of the second. Boy, once Victor Martinez went down with that injury during the winter, the Tigers really went after Fielder very quickly to sign him to that long-term deal, didn't they?
And it was a very long deal indeed. It was one really that set the groundwork for the deal the Reds ended up signing with Joey Votto.
9-year, $214 million deal that has Prince Fielder under contract through the 2020 season. And he walks here on 5. That's the first Tiger base runner. Tonight's Ohio Lottery Mega Millions jackpot worth $22 million. Drawing is at 11 tonight. That's the Ohio Lottery Mega Millions jackpot. $22 million. Delman Young at the plate now. Number 1 overall pick some 9 years ago by Tampa Bay. Hitting .261 this year, 4 homers. He's driven in 20.
I better remember Delman really as a 12, 13, 14-year-old kid that used to come around Synergy Field, follow his brother Dimitri Young, who was also, by the way, a number 1 draft pick.
Right.
I think Delman was 4 years old when Dimitri was drafted, so he didn't really get the significance of what it was to be a number 1 pick until years later.
They can talk about it, I guess, with the Upton boys. They were both number 1 picks.
Indeed, and of course, Delman is a guy that is a very good fastball hitter. And that's why you're seeing right now Matt Latos trying to feather that little breaking ball in there, take some of the power away from Young, who came into this ballpark for the first time ever today, and his eyes lit up when he saw center field. The ball's jumping out of here in BP. He said, man, this is my kind of ballpark.
Hanging breaking ball, and it's popped up. 1 out.
You know, even though these teams haven't seen each other before, the scatter reports on them now, with all the video available and advanced scouts and teams of interns underneath each stadium poring over video and scouting reports, there aren't really very many secrets. The only thing they haven't done is been on the field against each other, but they know just about everything about the other team that you'd ever want to know. And then some.
Well, you saw Jimmy Leland, the manager of the Tigers, in the dugout. Now in his 7th year at the helm of this Detroit team, the former Pirate skipper, former Marlins manager. He won the World Series there down in Florida back in 1997. 1 year with Colorado, and then remember, Chris, he said, you know, I'm going to retire, step away for a while, but eventually came back with this Detroit ball club.
Pride of Perrysburg, Ohio.
Right up near Toledo, right?
Indeed. Well, over the years, the Reds have seen this young man, Johnny Peralta, very good offensive player. And another one of these in the Tiger lineup that's a good fastball hitter.
You mentioned the Tigers won the AL Central last year, but boy, they've been beset by injuries this year.
Yeah, they could really field a team nearly anyway on those players that are on the disabled list. And sometimes it's not who you play, it's when you play them. I think the Reds are picking them at a pretty good time right now.
They were an under 500 ball club in May. They led the first couple of weeks of the season, the Central Division over there. Toward the middle, Phillips, Cozart, Votto, inning ending 4-6-3, double play, bounced into by Johnny Peralta. Reds turn it and get through the top of the second. Scoreless game here in Cincinnati. Be a sold out Great American Ballpark. Take a look now at our Meyer text poll. Very simple, straightforward question. Who's the best first baseman in the major leagues? Votto, Fielder, Pujols, Gonzalez, Teixeira. Text either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 to 37664. Normal messaging rates do apply, and we'll show you the results a little bit later on tonight.
Well, what about all those first basemen that Joey Votto used to have to compete with to get those all-star votes? Well, now they're all over the American League. Adrian Gonzalez, Albert Pujols, Prince Fielder. One by one, they have exited the National League and over in the American League, and there's Joey Votto really sitting all by himself atop the leaderboard of first baseman in this league.
And we're, of course, very grateful that Joey did stay here with the Reds and not go elsewhere. He was not a free agent as of yet.
I think a lot of people around here that are very grateful that he won't be going anywhere for a long, long time.
That's right.
You know, some guys come and they get a big contract like Joey Votto, and it seems like then they put it in cruise control. I see Joey Votto this year grinding it out more than ever. I mean, if that's possible. The guy is just the essence of what it's like to come up here to the major leagues and work hard.
Offensively, flies out to center to get the bottom of the second started. That will be Ryan Hannigan. They cheer on the Reds June 12th through the 14th. That's next week when they take on the Cleveland Indians, presented by the Ohio Lottery. Wednesday the 13th, arrive early, be one of the first 10,000 fans through the gates to receive a Brandon Phillips Louisville Slugger Silver Slugger mini bat. For tickets to see the Reds battle the Tribe June 12th through the 14th, call 513-381-REDS Select Kroger locations or Reds.com. Hannigan with one out. He spent most of the month of May above the 300 mark. Checks into this game at 297. Porcello gets that one in there, and now it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's coming off back-to-back quality starts. 2 starts ago at Minnesota, his last time out against the Yankees, although he hasn't had a winning decision since the 6th of May at home against the White Sox.
Yeah, that's a little bit more than a month, and one of the reasons why is that Porcello's had a hard time in the first inning. The Reds had their opportunities there to score more than just 1 run. In fact, his earned run average in the first inning is highest in all of the American League. But he settles down after that, so you hope that the Reds can kind of continue that momentum that they got going early on.
Hard hit, diving stop, and Santiago will throw Hannigan out for out number 2.
Second nice play that Ramon Santiago has made defensively, going to his right, diving, smothering the ball. He did the same thing on Joey Votto's base hit. In fact, by keeping the ball in the infield, he saved the run, but he snuffs out Hannigan there with a nice defensive play. You know, this year's Tiger team, they're not really known for their defense. They're more known for, Justin Verlander and a couple of big boppers in the middle of the lineup. Santiago, it might be the exception to that. He brings you a very good glove out there.
2 out, nobody on for Latos. He quickly down a couple of strikes. Of course, when these American League clubs like Detroit come into a National League ballpark, their pitcher must hit. National League teams go into the American League parks, they get to use the DH or add another bat. So really, it affects the American League teams much more than it does these National League clubs. Porcello is in the lineup and batting 9th for the Tigers. That strike 3 call. Latos is rung up. First strikeout for Porcello. We're through 2 here at Great American Ballpark. Reds in front, 1-0.
Haven't squared off that many times, and while these 2 teams aren't very familiar with each other, the 2 skippers are. In fact, Jim Leyland and Dusty Baker have a pretty tight relationship.
Well, I mean, he's a guy that I'm real close to, really. I mean, he's a guy that when I was a coach, before I was a manager, he's telling me all the time that I was going to be managing soon. And, he was a guy that we have a lot in common. I mean, we both managed, Barry Bonds for an extended period of time, and I used to ask him about different things about Barry, and we would talk.
And Dusty kept saying over and over, he's just good people. He's a good man. In fact, when Dusty's father passed away, surprisingly, Jim Leyland sent him some flowers and some condolences. And even one time when Jim Leyland was leaving Colorado, the 2 were out, and Jim Leyland tried to get Dusty Baker to come up on stage and sing with him. Dusty declined, but the 2 are that good of friends.
That's going to be a fair ball and a base hit for Gerald Laird to get the top of the 3rd inning started. I thought Dusty was a singer. I guess he's not a singer.
Shower singer.
Shower singer. Okay. All right. And they would have, talking about Dusty and Leyland, managed against each other. Dusty is the Giants manager, and Jimmy Leyland first with Pittsburgh, and then Florida, then Colorado, went head-to-head against one another. Jim in his 21st year as a big league skipper. Dusty
in his 19th.
I bet they've got some stories to share about Barry Bonds. But, of course, Jimmy Leland was the first manager for Barry Bonds. And, of course, Dusty managed Barry out in San Francisco for so many years.
Hit by Laird, the first hit by the Tigers. Their second base runner. Here's Ramon Santiago, the switch hitter, batting from the left side. Cairo in on the grass at third. Double play ball, maybe. Oh, it's off the shoulder, but they get a force out on a heads-up play by Cozart. That ball took a bad hop, but he did a nice job of recovering.
Well, you talk about making something out of nothing. It's exactly what Cozart does right here. The ball's got lots of spin on it when it gets to him, and it looks like it just bounces right off his chest, but stays with it. And this is what infielders are taught right from the minor leagues, lowest level of the minor leagues on up. If you muff a ball, don't drop your head and be disgusted. Look for the baseball, pick it up, and see if you can't make something out of it. And Cozart does right there, saves himself an error and gets the Reds an extra out.
So the Tigers send up their pitcher now, Rick Porcello, and he shows bunt. He has one sacrifice bunt in his career. He's, of course, always been a Tiger in terms of his big league time. 3 hits, 12 at bats in the interleague play that he has been involved with. He'll talk it over with their third base coach, Gene Lamont, former big league manager himself. Didn't he, Chris, follow Jim Leland at Pittsburgh?
He did indeed.
Sound right?
Also White Sox manager. Been around the game a long time, Gene Lamont has.
There was your little butcher boy right there.
You know, yep. You know, Gene Lamont was a manager of Omaha when I played again in the minor leagues and pitched a good game against his team one time, and he said in the paper the next day, that little monkey pitched a pretty good game against us. And he was referring to me.
You go down and confront him on that the next day?
No. It took me about 15 years, but I finally got him.
Was that at Indianapolis or was that at Rosenblatt?
That was out in Omaha at the Rosenblatt, the old Rosenblatt Stadium where they played the College World Series for so many years.
Yeah. Up on the hill.
In fact, he had Danny Jackson, Reds left-handed great pitcher, on that ball club for a couple of years.
There's a bunt with 2 strikes. Latos makes the play. That's a 1-3 sacrifice and put out at first base. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, check out the excerpt from the book The Chosen Ones on Roger Bacon's unlikely defeat of LeBron James and St. Vincent St. Mary back in high school. Plus, Sam Amico has more inside info on the upcoming NBA draft. It's all on FoxSportsOhio.com. A little pressure there, bunting with 2 strikes, but Porcello got it done. So Quentin Berry, who started the year at AAA Toledo, and when Austin Jackson went on the disabled list with an abdominal strain, this guy has taken over and done a very nice job out in center field for them. Cairo in the way of that soft line drive, and the Tigers finished here in the third. Their first hit is a left on base, so we go to the bottom of number 3. Reds 1-0 leaders. Fans of a Reds home run hits the Toyota Tundra sign during tonight's game. Bobby Garland from Edgewood, Kentucky will win this beautiful new Tundra on display here at Great American Ballpark. You can register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. There it sits high atop the ballpark above the Reds bullpen out in left center field. Keep going down, you'll go right into the Reds pen. RBI infield single by Brandon Phillips. The only run of this game thus far, back in the first. So Cozart leads it off here in inning number 3. Base hit to start the Reds' first inning out of Zach. And another base hit.
Now, the first time up, he hit it in almost an identical spot over the shortstop's head. That time went between the third baseman and shortstop. First time off a fastball, this time off a breaking ball. Zach Cozart at the top of the order, maybe settling in and giving the Reds a little bit more of what they need in that leadoff spot, which is runners on base.
He had back-to-back multi-hit games. That ended on Wednesday. Had one hit last night, a couple today. Heise, who tried to bunt his first time, tries to do the same thing here.
Well, they're yelling out of the Tigers dugout that Heise should be out because the ball hit him outside the batter's box, but it did not. Once it hits you inside the batter's box, the ball's dead. It can't hit you again. That's the same thing that happened really at the bottom of the first inning. Cozart got a base hit. Heise tried to drop a bunt down. He does the same thing right here, hoping to make Miguel Cabrera make a play at third base. You know, the Tigers really have two first basemen playing in the corners, Cabrera and Fielder. And you want to make Cabrera field a bunt anytime you possibly can.
Jammed him on that ball, and Heise turned on it quickly and shoots it out into left. Cozart hustles over to third. First and third with nobody out here in the bottom of number 3.
Now, you're right. This sinking fastball just comes right in on his thumbs, but that's one area that Heise protects as well as anybody. He's got a very short swing, very quick on that ball that's up and in. And even though he didn't get it on a sweet part of the bat, got enough of it to get a base hit.
Heise had been 0 for his last 12, 1 for his last 21. Ends that with that base hit.
Well, a good spot right here for the Reds. Anytime you have to pitch to Votto with a runner on base, you're looking good.
Infield single his first time, extending that hitting streak to 14 games. Mentioned earlier, tops in the National League with runners in scoring position. Joey, during this hitting streak coming into tonight, over 500 at 543. Plus 10 points after his hit in tonight's game, so there he is, over 550.
You know what Votto does probably better than anybody is not make himself make outs on pitchers' pitches early in the count. You just don't see him chase those on the edge pitches. He waits to get something that he can handle.
You brought something up earlier in the year that always gets me thinking when he's up there, and that is he never fouls a ball off his ankle or his foot or his knee. He did the other night, and it shocked me that it happened.
Nor does he pop a ball up in the infield.
High and deep. Barry going back. Barry's going to run out of room. That one's off the hitter's backdrop. Straightaway center. 3-run blast. Votto, number 10. And it's 4-0 Reds.
Patient as he is, he finally gets a pitch on the outer part of the plate, up, and gives it a ride. Joey Votto, a 3-run bomb. Well, you talk about a guy locked in, you're looking at him.
Now gives him the team lead in RBIs with 38. Extends the Great American Ballpark home run streak to 54 straight games dating back to July 29th of last year. Longest current streak going in the big leagues. 54 straight games played here with at least one home run hit.
The guy's unbelievable. I mean, until you see him live, I mean, the Tigers can scout all they want. They can look at the video. But until you see the guy perform here at this ballpark live, you haven't seen anything.
Really is amazing.
Now he's going to go over and practice his Spanish with Johnny Cueto. Guy can hit home runs in any language.
Did you happen to read the story in today's paper? Paul Doherty wrote about Votto talking about facing Chapman. I thought that was pretty interesting as well. Phillips rolls out to Peralta for the first out of the inning. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one here at the ballpark tonight, we look forward to our Miller Time moment later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Bruce with 3 in and 1 out. Base hit, home run so far in this inning. Then the ground out. Now Bruce trying to get it started again. That was the 50th pitch, and now the 51st by Porcello tonight. Hit it hard, but Santiago handles that line drive for the second out. Well, the batter will be Ryan Ludwig. Reds start the day with a 2-game lead in the National League Central Division over both the Pirates and the Cardinals. Pirates are at home tonight against Kansas City, leading 3-1 in the third. Cardinals will be at home a little bit later on against Cleveland. In fact, that game will start in about 15 minutes. Ludwig hit into an inning-ending force play his last time. By Ludwig toward the alley. He's going to get extra bases out of this. Reds get their 4th hit of the inning, and now the 7th of this game. Ludwig double number 7.
Now this guy's heating up at just about the right time. Drew Stubbs not able to play the last few games. Ryan Ludwig with the foot down and the head down. Look how he keeps his head right on the baseball as he makes contact and drives that ball in the gap. Well, the Reds have really laid out some line drives tonight against Rick Porcello. I mean, as hard as they've hit the ball, you'd think it would be even a little bit more than 4-0. They had big opportunity in the first. They've hit a couple of hard line drive outs.
men on this team in double digits in home runs sitting next to one another. Votto now with 10. Bruce with a team leading 13. Cairo would like to add to his RBI total, which sits at 2. And ball 4. First walk by Porcello puts Cairo on along with Ludwig and brings Hannigan up there. And now Jeff Jones, the pitching coach of the Tigers, to the mound to pay a visit. This Sunday, cheer on the Reds when they battle these Tigers under the lights. The game will start at 8 o'clock. Plus, get the opportunity to purchase 1 ticket at full price, 3 additional tickets at half price. Don't miss the Drew Stubbs die-cast toy car giveaway as well, thanks to Tri-State Chevy dealers. For tickets to see your Reds take on the Tigers this coming Sunday, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or Reds.com.
Wouldn't the Reds love to get into the Tigers bullpen early in this ball game and kind of set the stage all weekend long? They're going to face a very tough pitcher tomorrow, maybe one of the best in all the major leagues, if not the best, in Justin Verlander. So you know how tough it'll be tomorrow to get a ball game from them, and you'd love to be able to wear their pen out today.
Their pen hasn't exactly been a strong suit for them this year.
Exactly.
Hannigan toward the right field corner, slicing away out there from Brennan Bosch in a foul ball. And Ludwig, you take a look at what he's been doing as of late. 3 for 10 with a couple of home runs in that Pirate series, but 5 RBIs. And he has driven in, going into tonight's game, 14 runs in his last 14 games. So while his average isn't there, he seems to come up with some big hits for this team. By Porcello. Peralta makes the play to retire the side, but a fruitful bottom of the 3rd for the Reds. Joey Votto, the big 3-run blast, straightaway center, and it's 4-0 Reds through 3. Anderson had 5 division titles with the Reds. How many did he have with the Tigers? Think about it now, our AT&T trivia question. 5 with the Reds division titles. How many with Detroit? Matt Latos, 3 shutout innings thus far and a very efficient 28 pitches.
Yeah, that's the unusual thing and a very good sign for Matt Latos. When you're that efficient early in the ball game and you're on the roll that Latos is, that you hope that you can pencil him in there to at least get you to the 8th. He's done that several times. He just has to keep that concentration at the level that it's at right now. I thought he lost his concentration a little bit in his last start against the Houston Astros, but he's off to a very good start tonight.
He works here to Brennan Bosch to get the top of the 4th started.
Well, this kid, big, strong hitter. Watching him take batting practice today, I mean, playing pepper with the stands in left field, left center field, and right field. Still finding his way here in the major league, looking for a fastball. As you can see, first pitch changeup, next pitch curveball. Here, you don't necessarily just want to play power versus power, even though your best pitch is a fastball like Matt Latos. That's about all this kid's looking for right now.
Bruce going back. I don't know if he saw that ball right away, but it's not going to matter. It's about 6 rows up into the seats. Out of the moon deck, out in right. Home run for Brennan Bosch, his 6th of the year. Tigers are on the board.
I got that changeup up a little bit. Look at the location right there, pretty much right down Broadway. And Bosch, even though he doesn't get a ton of it, gets enough of it to launch one out of here. 13 bombs on the year given up by Latos. A solo shot shouldn't hurt you. I mean, solo home runs or home runs in this ballpark are going to happen. What you just have to make sure of is that you didn't walk somebody ahead of them, or you don't do it with a couple of runners on base.
Latos had given up the hit to Laird in the third, a single to right. Now he gives up the home run ball. So 6 of the last 7 hits he's given up in this ballpark have been home runs. Back in that Colorado game on the 27th, 5 hits, all homers. Last start down in Houston, and now this one here. It's first since that one against the Rockies. Cabrera, the reigning American League batting champ from a year ago. He hit .344. He also led the American League in doubles last season with 48. He's going to be thrown out by Cozart for the first out here in the fourth. Reds fans, if you're in the restaurant industry, let JTM Food Group help you with great tasting, healthier products for your menu. That's JTM. Here's Fielder. 3-time All-Star with the Brewers, including last year for Prince Fielder. He's another one like Votto that's trying to extend a long hitting streak. He has a 14-gamer coming into tonight's action. Cozart cheating up the middle, has to move back to his right, and he throws out Fielder. Boy, you get Cabrera and Fielder to hit the ball on the ground. That's what you want.
You're not kidding about that. Those guys are the ones in this lineup that want to elevate it. But Matt Latos did a really good job after giving a home run up. He keeps the ball in the ballpark, but not only that, but down on the ground against 2 of the better hitters in the league. So a good little comeback here for Latos.
The deal now with Delman Young.
Here's the last pitch to Prince Fielder to induce that ground ball. I mean, that is what I talk about when you see Joey Votto early in the count not getting himself out on a pitch like that. He's patient enough to know that eventually that pitcher is going to have to give him something marginally better than right at the very lower end of the strike zone. And he'll wait you out.
And confident enough that he can hit it when it gets it.
And that's what separates Votto as, you know, maybe the best hitter in the league or in all of baseball to those next level of hitters, which are awfully good. Guys like Prince Fielder and Miguel Cabrera.
Strikeout of Young, the second of the night for Latos. And yes, indeed, a very good recovery by the big right-hander after the Bosch home run. Sparky Anderson had 5 division titles with the Reds. How many did he have with the Tigers? He had 2. World Series year of 1984. Then again in 1987. So 7 division titles overall in the managerial career of the late Sparky Anderson. I mentioned earlier, he is the winningest manager in both of these franchise history. 863 with the Reds, 1,331 with Detroit. Latos called out on strikes his first time. Reds in front 4-1. Looking for victory number 32. Here's a look down memory lane in terms of these two franchises. 5 World Series to 4. The last for the Detroit Ball Club was that '84 Sparky Anderson team. They defeated San Diego. Both have the same number of Hall of Famers. Now, does that include Barry Larkin, I wonder? If not, that could jump by 1. That does include Barry Larkin, so 9 apiece. Latos, a bid for his first hit as a Red, and there it is. Into right for Matt Latos, his first hit wearing a Red uniform.
Despite that ball off, as long as you're up there competing, swinging the bat, trying to make contact, you never know. Pretty good swing right there for Matt.
3 years with the Padres, he had 11 hits. That's his first in 16 ABs wearing a Red uniform. Now Cozart gonna wrap into a double play. 4-6-3, Santiago, Peralta, and Fielder.
Boy, I like the way that Matt Latos went hard in the second base right there. Hustling all the way, even though that was a tailor-made 4-6-3 DP.
Got those arms out,
that, yeah.
those legs out.
I like it.
He says, I may not get many hits, but I know what I'm doing out there. Now Heisey will bat with the bases clear and 2 men out. Latos need to get himself a drink of water, sit down, relax, get ready to work again in inning number 5.
Yeah, and Heisey needs to recognize that, and he does by taking that first pitch. The last thing you want to see this guy do is go up there, swing at the first pitch, make it out, and then have Latos have to run out there, get warm, and really never kind of get situated again.
Like they want to pitch Heisey away now, Chris, after that first hit he had.
Well, I think everybody wants to pitch Heisey away. It's a matter of whether you can actually get it there consistently. That's the adjustment that Heisey's just still in the process of making. I mean, when you come off the bench and you hit as a pinch hitter, you're going to get a lot of fastballs. A lot of times you're going to see fastballs that run up and in, and if you're quick like Heisey, you're going to have success.
Cabrera throws out Heisey. That ends the bottom of the 4th. They get a hit to the Reds from Latos, but the double play erases him. We've completed 4 GABP. Cindersea for over 30 years by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For over 30 Toyota offers available now, visit buyatoyota.com, including mobile, and by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Reds by 3 as we enter the 5th inning. Good work thus far tonight by Matt Latos. Walk 1, he's fanned 2. Nice bounce back after the home run ball by Bosch to get Cabrera, Fielder, and Young in the 4th, and he deals with the former Indian Johnny Peralta here to start inning number 5. He sends it a long way to right, but Bruce right in front of the wall. Jumped. He probably didn't have to, but he did. Little hop, and he makes the catch. Peralta is out number 1.
Well, Peralta has been in his ballpark enough to know that really all you need to do is get that ball up into the air and you may have a chance. Sometimes a ballpark like this will play on the minds of a hitter. You come in here and you take batting practice and you pop the ball out of here every other swing. So when you get into the game, you try to hit home runs. and your swing gets long, you start uppercutting, you become a lot easier out than you normally would if you just stay within your game. And that's where really the advantage should be for the Reds. They understand what it's like to play here, and they don't change their approach just because they come into a smaller ballpark.
And here's the former Tiger that returns home now, Gerald Laird. He had been with them back in 09 and 2010. He left was a member of the Cardinals last year, re-signed with the Tigers this year as a free agent. I think it was Laird, wasn't it, who kind of got into a shouting match with Francisco Cordero at the end of a game last year here at Great American Ballpark when he was a member of the Cardinals.
Well, he had to take a number for that one, because there were a whole bunch of Cardinals that were in a shouting match with Francisco in that one.
Something about hitting Pujols, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've had some injuries here in the catcher's position. Laird, they weren't sure if he was going to play or not tonight. He hasn't started a game since the first. Had some right hamstring tightness. Alex Avila went on the disabled list yesterday with a hamstring strain.
Well, what they wanted to do is they wanted to bring Gerald Laird out early this afternoon. The Tigers came out and took extra batting practice about 2:30 this afternoon. And it wasn't until he did that and then did some running drills that he would convince Jimmy Leyland that he would be able to play. Because that nagging hamstring injury has been a two-time reoccurrence for him. He didn't want it to get any worse.
Towards center, Laird has his second hit of this game. He's 2 for 2. Batter will be Ramon Santiago. Mark your calendars for Friday, June the 22nd. Reds take on the Minnesota Twins here at Great American Ballpark. Make sure you arrive early. Be one of the first 20,000 fans through the gate. You receive an MLB Network drawstring backpack. Plus, thanks to Rawlings and MLB Network, one lucky winner will win a special 24K gold infused baseball. For tickets, call 513-381-RED. Select Kroger locations or Reds.com. Santiago hit into a force play his first time. Most of his big league career spent with the Tigers. He did have a 2-year stint out in Seattle, 04 and 05. Pitcher Porcello waits on deck. 4-1 Reds. We're in the 5th. Phillips tag, got him, throw, got him, double play. Boy, Phillips fielded that ball just as Laird went by, tagged him, threw to first. Reds turn their second double play of the night. Right-hander of the Reds, Bronson Arroyo, against the reigning MVP and Cy Young Award winner for the Tigers, Justin Verlander. That's tomorrow, middle game of this series. Reds live with Jim Day, Jeff Porcaro at 3:30. First pitch comes your way at 4:10. Weather's going to be great. Pitching matchup should be a dandy. And hopefully the Reds will be going for victory number 2 in the series. A look at the numbers between Verlander and Arroyo so far this year. That's tomorrow. Again, 3:30 Reds live. 4:10 first pitch. Votto leads it off here in the home 5th. Single and a home run to his credit. that blast he hit back in the third.
Don't make a mistake, because in this ballpark, Joey Votto will take you deep, and he does right there. A pitch on the outer part of the plate, waited very patiently till the one that he liked came along.
And he shoots this one out in the left center. That's going to be a single and maybe a double. Here goes the National League leader in 2 base hits, and he is in there, standing at second base. The tag put on by Santiago. Angel Hernandez, the umpire, right on top of that. Joey gets his major league leading 25th double.
What's that old baseball saying? When in doubt, don't slide. Well, Joey Votto sees that coming, and he's just going to do a little sidestep right there. He's got his foot on the bag before the tag is on him. The guy's a magician. Or a witch. I'm not sure which.
He has a single, a double, and a home run in this game, so he's a triple away from the cycle. He'll move up to third on this ground ball. Brandon Phillips now 1 for 3. Runner 90 feet away with 1 out.
Like to see Brandon doing that. You know, you'd love to sit back and play for a big inning, but it doesn't always come. And in this ball game, or in this ballpark, we've seen so often that a 3-run lead is not nearly safe enough.
They'll put Bruce on intentionally to get the right-hander Ludwig. The Tigers now do have action in their bullpen. Jose Ortega is up and throwing. Second walk given to the Reds in this game. Cairo had walked back into third, and now the Tigers complete the free pass to Bruce. This July, don't miss the biggest event of the summer as baseball's greatest stars battle for home field advantage in the Fall Classic. The road to the World Series begins with the 2012 Major League All-Star Game. That's Tuesday, July the 10th at 7:30 Eastern Time, only on Fox. Jeff Jones, second visit of the mound, the pitching coach of the Tigers. He gets everybody involved out there. Pittsburgh leading 4-2 at home over Kansas City. That game in the 5th. Cardinals underway now at home, and the Indians jumped out in front 2-0. Cardinals batting in the bottom of the 1st. Best case scenario would have the Reds winning here and both Pittsburgh and St. Louis losing. Reds would go into action tomorrow with a 3-game lead over both those teams. So here's Ludwig. Runners at the corners with 1 out.
Just take another look at Joey Votto's swing on that double, how he's able to see how he keeps his head right on the line right here. He's got a stiff front leg that he's really working that. He's driving this knee forward, and that's where Joey Votto generates the power. Of course, you see that ball hitting right on the sweet spot of the bat as well, but I mean, geometrically drawn, Joey Votto's just got the perfect swing.
That's a fair ball. Cabrera goes to second 1 and over to first 2. That's a heck of a defensive play by the third baseman turned first baseman, who's back at third now. Miguel Cabrera, a 5-4-3 inning-ending double play. And let's go back and revisit our Meyer text poll we talked about earlier. Your chance to win a Fox Sports Ohio Meyer prize pack. Text Meyer to 37664 to be entered. How about that? Best first baseman in the big leagues? Joey Votto, overwhelming.
Are we in Reds country, or are we in Reds country?
Well, we're not in Tiger country, you can tell that.
We're not in Texas either.
95% think that man the best first baseman in the game.
Now, you know what? He proves it nearly every night. I mean, it's hard to determine the best because from year to year there's slight variations, but Have you seen a guy that grinds it out as much as Joey Votto?
I like what you talked about earlier. A lot of guys, when they sign that long-term deal, all of a sudden become too comfortable. Joey, if anything, is working harder this year.
Well, those guys that you saw on that list, though, I don't think any one of those guys are the type that are going to just put it into cruise control. But Votto really has just stepped it up. I mean, every one of those players that you saw, you know, Pujols and Teixeira and Adrian Gonzalez and Prince Fielder and so on, all of those players want to be the best player in the league. And that's what Joey Votto wants to be. He really believes that he can be and should be the best player in the league. And if you're going to give a long-term contract to anybody, that's the type of player that should get it.
This is Matt Young pinch hitting for Porcello, and he drives this one over the head of Heisey. That'll bounce over the wall. That's a ground rule double for the pinch hitter to start the Tigers' 6th inning. Matt Young only batting for the 5th time, and he gets his first hit. That is his first major league hit. Well, congratulations to Matt Young out of the University of New Mexico. Just called up about 5 days ago from their AAA club at Toledo. Tigers now have dual action in the pen. A couple of right-handers. Jose Ortega now joined by Luis Marte. Ortega on the right. Did that hit him in the foot?
He was butting for the ball, was he not?
They'll send Young.
No argument from the Reds dugout there.
Yeah, Young goes back to second base.
We're going to call it a foul ball. Nope. They go down to third base, and Ed Hickok says no, it was not a foul ball. Did he attempt to pull it back, or did he go for the ball? Well, he pulled back, but it was so late that interesting that we covered that exact subject on our CBTS Tech Talk tonight about offering out a pitch and then having the pitch hit you.
So Barry hit by the pitch. He joins Matt Young on the bases. That double he picked up is not his first big league hit. First hit this year for him in the big leagues. He had 10 hits last year, including 1 double with the Atlanta Braves.
Brennan Bosch almost got one right down the first baseline right there. He was just a little bit ahead of a changeup. And it just seems like Hannigan and Latos are just so reluctant to give this guy a fastball that sometimes you give a young hitter, too much credit. I mean, Latos has a good fastball. Eventually he's going to have to throw it at this guy and challenge him with it. He's the hit guy that got him for a home run last time up.
That's going to scoot out into left field. Young will be held at third by Gene Lamont. And the Tigers have them loaded with no one out here in the 6th.
Well, that was the fastball there. He did not hit it well. He got it on the ground. Another ground ball. Boy, tonight Matt Latos is getting a lot of grounders, but that one finds a hole with the infield pinched around, looking for a double play. The 5.5 hole opens up, and Mac Jenkins, the acting pitching coach, will come to the mound. Brian Price away on personal business back in Arizona, and Mac Jenkins, the assistant pitching coach, come out and see if he can bring a little calm to the chaos going on out there. Bases loaded, nobody out. You may not know a lot about Mac Jenkins, but he is a very fine pitching coach. He's been around the Reds organization for a long, long time as the minor league pitching coordinator. He's been a pitching coach at all sorts of different levels in the minor leagues for the Reds. Originally from Tampa, Florida. Good man.
Yeah, he was the longtime pitching coach down at AAA Louisville when Dave Miley, the former Reds manager, was down there. He's been with this team all year. He's the assistant pitching coach, and as Chris said, now acting pitching coach with Brian Price away. Here's Miguel Cabrera. 2 career grand slams. Bats here. He's grounded out twice. Reds will give up a run for a ground ball double play if they can get it. Cabrera hitting .379 with runners in scoring position this year, but does not have a hit with the bases loaded. That's what he is looking at right here. That's the 3rd hit of the inning. That'll get 1 home. That'll get another run home. It's a 1-run game on a 2-run single by Cabrera, giving him 51 RBIs on the season as Matt Young and Quentin Berry score.
Yeah, that 5.5 hole, that spot between 3rd and short, is being worn out by the last couple of hitters. A hanging breaking ball right there. Votto still gets the ground ball, happens to find a hole, drives in 2, still nobody out in the inning.
Not a happy man right there, Matt Latos. He'll go back to the mound now to face Prince Fielder.
Now this is about the worst part of the order, that you can have runners on ahead of them and then have to pitch to Cabrera and then Prince Fielder.
Nobody out in the inning. Fielder's done a good job both against the Reds and, as you can see there, in this ballpark in his career. This ballpark, 11 home runs, .323 average to go along with the RBIs you just saw on the list.
And a good time there for Ryan Hanigan to go out and try to settle down Latos, because the last couple of pitches, after giving up a double, then you hit a batter, barely get him on a little breaking ball, then you give up a couple of ground ball base hits, and Latos now is really trying to overthrow. Take a look at the last pitch right here. I mean, he's just trying to throw the ball like Aroldis Chapman as hard as he can, and you know, Hanigan has to jump up to catch it. He'd be better advised really to find a good spot, take something off of it, and turn it over, maybe get a ground ball. And he's been getting a few of those tonight. He's rolled up 1 ground ball double, make it 2 ground ball double plays. That's 5 on the year for Latos. He only had 8 all of last year.
Bosch at second, Cabrera at first. 2 home in the inning, no one out for the Tigers. Heisey coming on. Heisey with a dive, and Heisey makes the catch. The human highlight reel out there since he's taken over in center.
It seems like Chris Heisey does his best work in midair.
There's Bosch hustling back to the bag at second.
You know, when you're having an inning as a pitcher and the balls are falling in like they have in this inning for the Tigers, it takes a play like that in order to kind of get you back. Pitch by pitch presented by Mazda. This to Prince Fielder. They're going to pitch him away at first. 2-0 right there. Away again, and then away, and then try to come inside right here. And that's when they jam him with a fastball right on the trademark.
Now Delman Young, fly ball to right. No one will move up on that. There's 2 fly balls, 2 out now. First and second, 2 men gone. Lato's 1 out away from minimizing the damage here. He'll get Johnny Peralta.
I'm not sure that Matt Latos could throw a better breaking ball than right there. You know, one of the hardest things for a pitcher to do is to throw a pitch like that you are convinced beyond any doubt that it's a strike, and it's not called a strike. So how do you improve it? The hardest thing to do is not show emotion.
Yeah, that's got to be the tough part.
It is, because you don't want to show the umpire up. You don't want to show the other team that you're pitching against that they're under your skin. Either they're under your skin or the umpire's under your skin. You just kind of want to be emotionless out there.
Which is a big step for this guy, because by his own admission, coming up through high school and his early college years, he said, well, I look back at some of the things I did then, now, I would have hated myself too.
Yeah.
Peralta's grounded into a double play back in the second. Flied out in the 5th to the warning track.
First time in this ball game here in that 6th inning that the Tigers have really had to make Latos labor. Still very good overall efficiently for Matt.
Peralta, one of those shortstop types that has hit in his career for power. This guy's had 20+ home runs any number of years.
Yeah, really more of an offensive kind of a player than he is a defensive player. An American League type player. This is one of the problems that Matt has had so far, Latos, is getting ahead of hitters and then putting them away. And what we've seen this year more than any other year is that opposing batters have been able to foul off very good pitches that he's thrown and stay alive in the count. You run up his pitch count, you eventually have him make a mistake, he gives up a hit. He needs to get back and try to find that little swing and miss slider that he's thrown a few times tonight and a few times previously in his career. Could use one right here.
With the runners going, that's ball 4. He looks disgusted again. Dusty Baker not happy with what's transpiring here in the 6th.
Well, this wasn't a strike, but one of the ones early in the count, I think Matt Latos thought that Mark Carlson may have missed. That one clearly down and out of the strike zone, and that's a good at bat for Johnny Peralta. I mean, he's a pretty good hitter for the number 6 slot in the order.
Second time in this inning now the Tigers have him loaded, and this has been a 22-pitch inning for Latos.
Just getting loose.
Here's Laird. He owns a pair of hits already tonight. Reds by a run, 4-3. Here comes Heisey. Out goes Phillips. Brandon gets there. Tigers leave him loaded. They've stranded 4. Lead still intact, albeit by a run. Blast in the bottom of the 3rd, and the Reds led 4-0 through the first 3. Tigers start their way back. Brennan Bosch, home run number 6. That came to lead off the 4th. Good rebound the rest of that inning by Latos. 4-1 Reds after 4. And Miguel Cabrera, now 51 runs batted on the year. Scored Matt Young, scored Quentin Berry. 4-3 Reds here in the middle of the 6th inning. Game summary tonight. Defensive changes for the Tigers. Matt Young, who pinch hit, stays in the game. He's now at second base. Ramon Santiago moves from second to short. Johnny Peralta out of the game, and the new pitcher, Luis Marte.
Only in for the 4th time. As you said earlier, this is not the strong suit of this Tigers ball club, is their bullpen. Marte throwing strikes, though. In his 3 ball games, he has not walked a batter, and he has struck out 7.
Yeah, the Tiger bullpen, a 4.21 ERA, 13th out of 14 in the American League. So let's see if the Reds can build that lead back up. Cairo leads it off here in the bottom of the 6th. Porcello, the Tigers starter, 5 innings, 4 runs all earned, 9 hits, 2 walks, 1 intentional, a strikeout, and the home run ball to Votto. Cannot win, can only be the loser. Off the end of the bat, Marte will throw out Cairo for out number 1. Get ready for Reds action. That's 30 minutes before every game with Reds Live here on Fox Sports Ohio. They have everything you need to get ready for the action right here on the exclusive home of Reds baseball. Fox Sports Ohio, Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. And then after every game, Fox Sports Ohio breaks it all down. They talk with the skipper and various Reds players. Reds Live post game. Brought to you by Kings Honda and the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. Batter Hannigan with 1 out. He's grounded out twice. Hammers this ball by Matt Young and into center. So Ryan has his first hit of the night. Hit number 9 for the Reds. Check that, number 10 for the Reds.
Boy, just a good, basic, solid approach for Ryan Hannigan. A guy that was never drafted out of high school nor out of college. Signed as a minor league free agent. You know, you've heard of self-made businessman, self-made millionaire. Ryan Hannigan's a self-made baseball player. A guy that nobody thought could play in the minor leagues, much less be a major leaguer. And here he is being a major leaguer. He's got the second highest on base percentage of anybody on his ball club. Solid behind the plate. A leader on his ball club in a quiet way. Good teammate.
Now he's aboard with one out, and there's Jeff Jones for a third time tonight. Checking things out on the mound. He went out there to talk with Luis Marte, the Dominican 25-year-old. Made his big league debut last year with the Tigers.
Don't jab at it.
Well, he has 6 of them this year in terms of sacrifices.
Kind of jabbed at that one. You know, he got the bat halfway out there. When the pitch came, he kind of pushed the bat at it. You want to get out there and you try to shake hands with it.
Now he's in the hole, 2 strikes.
This is where, if you're Luis Marte, you got to think, I'm going for a strikeout here. I'm 0-2. I've given this guy 2 fastballs to lay down. I'm going to throw my nastiest pitch. I may knock him off the plate, then hook him. But I'm getting a punch out right here. I'm not allowing this guy to put that runner over to second base with a successful sacrifice.
He showed bunt, took a good hack at it, fouled it away.
There's really not much downside to that. I mean, if you go up there and you keep the sacrifice on and you foul it off, you're out with a strikeout. You foul it off, anything like that. But if you fake a bunt, you still bring the infield in, and then if you pull it back with a little butcher boy, then even if you foul it off, you're still alive.
And now he's out. Lonely Planet travel guide named Cincinnati, USA, one of the top 3 travel destinations in 2012. So what are you waiting for? Book your weekend getaway at CincinnatiUSA.com. Hannigan still at first. Here's Cozart. Pair of singles. Pair of runs scored tonight. 2 out of 3. And 6 years since these 2 teams have gotten together. Back in 2006. That was at Comerica Park in Detroit. The Tigers won 2 out of 3. In fact, ever since the first time they met back in 1998 at Tiger Stadium, when the Reds went in there and won all 3 games, the Tigers have taken 2 out of 3 in the other 4 series. 99 in Cincinnati, 2001 in Cincinnati, the other 2 in Detroit. Of course, they met in the 1940 World Series, the Tigers, the Reds. Reds won that 4-3. They had to wait until the Big Red Machine to win another one. That 40 team managed by Bill McKechnie. Frank McCormick had a huge year offensively that year. Let's see who was the biggest winning pitcher. They had a couple of 20-game winners. Bucky Walters, Paul Derringer. Junior Thompson 116. Jim Turner 114. They went on to win the World Series. Bucky Valdez that year, Chris, threw 305 innings worth of work.
Just an average year. Of course, 300 innings back in those days was the bellwether, really, of whether you were a workhorse or not. Now, of course, if you pitch 200 innings, they're putting you atop the league as a workhorse. Luis Marte, kind of a slider machine out there.
Ozar draws the walk. He joins Hannigan on the bases. Heisey with a chance with 2 on, 2 out.
Well, Gerald Laird out there to talk to Luis Marte, and I'm sure one of the things he's told him is that you've got 2 out in this inning and 2 on, and he may not be in the on-deck circle right yet, but he will be coming up very shortly. So just take a look over there to your left, and you'll see Joey Votto. So that's why we want to pitch very tough to Chris Heisey right here, because you do not want Votto coming up here with the bases loaded. He's been a one-man wrecking crew to the Tigers tonight.
Chris, in the offensive end of things tonight, has 1 hit, but his big addition to this club tonight, defense. In the first inning, taking a hit away from Quentin Berry. And then in the 6th inning, charging in and getting this one off the bat of Fielder.
See, knowing that you've got Votto behind you should tell you as a hitter that in this at bat, you're going to have some pitches that will be called for strikes. And I'm not so sure that neither of the pitches that Marte has just thrown Heisey would have been called strikes had he not swung at him. You can afford to be a little more patient with the big guy behind you, especially in a situation like this where above everything else he's coming after you, Chris Heisey, not coming after Joey Votto.
Caught a breaking ball, hit it well toward left field. That ball will be caught by Berry. Step onto the warning track. Heisey is out, and so are the Reds. They leave a pair of left 7 through 6. Lead by 1. 10 for all selected pediatric specialties in U.S. News and World Report's 2011 Best Children's Hospitals. And by the dependable, long-lasting Chevy Silverado and your tri-state Chevy dealers. Racing down the Ohio. Here come the Steamboats. Reds by a run, 4-3. We enter inning number 7. Matt Lato's still out there. Lato's longest outing of the year is 7 1/3. He did that in the Colorado game 2 starts ago. He works into the 7th here. Right now, he has a quality start. 3 runs, 6 innings. He has 3 of them on the year in 11 starts. You know, worked to 8, 9, and 1.
Yeah, he had the longest inning of his game so far, but when you go out there and you're facing 8, 9, and 1, this is where you want to be able to go through this inning very quickly.
Santiago bounced into a double play his last time. Switch hitter up there hitting left-handed. 74 by way of pitchers through 6 in this game for Latos.
It's a new measure of efficiency for him.
Yeah, that's pretty darn good right there. Came in averaging over 17 pitches per inning so far this year. Fairly high.
Yeah, very high. I'm not so sure that's a very good play right there. When you have an 0-1 count and then you think you're going to drop a bunt down, if you foul it off or you bunt through it, now you're down 0-2. And that's the worst count that you can have in baseball. So this is where Matt Latos really has to kind of smell blood right here. Just go for the kill. Make it a nice, efficient 3 or 4 pitch AB and get him out of there.
Hannigan going to go out there. It looked like when Santiago stepped out that Hannigan had stood up and shook his head no, appearing to be indicating that to Latos he didn't like his idea in terms of a pitch. Now he goes out and says something to the tall right-hander. Number 8 hitter gets a leadoff base hit into right field. Hit number 7 for Detroit, and the tying run on. Tonight's Ohio Lottery Mega Millions jackpot worth $22 million. The drawing is at 11 tonight, so that's a little less than 2 hours from now. $22 million. Here's Matt Young. He had the pinch hit double in the 6th. Stayed in the game. Took over at second base. Johnny Peralta now out of the game. Former Brave, now a Tiger. Signed as a free agent with Detroit for this season. Now here goes Hannigan again.
They want to make sure that they're on the right page here. Ryan Hannigan is taking charge. And he's telling Matt Latos, listen, I'm the one that studied the scouting reports. I know what's going on here. I've got a feel for this team. I've gone over it and over it. And please go with me on this. And in order for Matt Latos to do it, he's got to really believe in the pitches that Ryan Hannigan is calling, not just throw them just because the catcher's putting the right number of fingers down. You've got to believe in those pitches. I think that's why Hannigan went out there to try to talk him into it. Don't overthrow it. He's showing him the baseball. Say, hey, right here, I need a strikeout of you. You know, when you're a catcher, you're sometimes a big brother. You're sometimes a coach. You're a receiver. You're a cheerleader.
Right, like right there.
You're all those things wrapped into one. And oftentimes you're also the pitching coach. That means he's going to throw over to first base. Now, back in the old days, when you give a sign like that, a little flip of the thumb, that means you're throwing underneath the chin of the hitter and you're flipping. But
so that's changed over the years.
They don't do that anymore. Taking all the fun out of baseball. overthrowing. Hannigan just trying to tell, hey, settle down now. Oh, well, we have a moment. We'll send out congratulations to Kelly and Alan Slater, who had their first baby last week. Avery Grace, and in the delivery room during the whole process, the Reds game was on. Wow. So congratulations on the arrival of Avery Grace to the Slater family.
New addition to the family while you're enjoying Reds baseball.
No, does it get any better than that?
I can't imagine where it would be. Santiago at first. He battled and got a 2-2 pitch to his liking and singled into right. Now 3-1 to Matt Young, the number 9 hitter. He'll get another look now at a 3-2 pitch. Reds led 1-0, then 4-0, now 4-3 here in the 7th.
Well, you see where the pitches are in this at bat, but I'm not so sure that it's really by design to be up there.
On the move, there's a strikeout. Oh, the throw bounces off the glove of Cozart and into center field, and Santiago ends up at third. Short hop the shortstop a little bit. He couldn't control it.
Well, that's one of those plays really where a catcher gets called for an error, and it is a bad throw, but really instead of trying to just field that ball on a one hop and then apply the tag, sometimes it's better just go and get your body in front of it and make sure that when you do see a ball in the dirt, you're at least going to block it from going into center field. Brandon Phillips was pulled way around towards first base in the hole and was in no position really to get over there and back it up.
Well, the strikeout of Young is the first out of the inning. The stolen base by Santiago, his first of the season. Hannigan charged with the error, so the tying run is at third. And we'll step aside. Our Skyline call to the bullpen means Jose Arredondo. Inning, new pitcher on is Arredondo. Quentin Berry, representing the top of the order, is up now for the Tigers. Infield is in. Tying run at third with 1 out.
Quentin Berry, kind of a slap hitter. He's lined out to the third baseman. He was the guy that was hit by the breaking ball that Latos threw up there in the last inning when he was trying to bunt.
Hammond got away from Hannigan, but he'll run it down.
Now that's what you've got to be aware of down there, because when you have Jose Arredondo on the mound, he's a guy whose specialty pitch is that split finger pitch, and it's always better when it's down in the dirt. You start at the knees, and the best breaking ball or the splitter that he'll throw is one that he starts at the knees and ends up just like that in the dirt. That can be very dangerous with a runner at third base.
Berry hit by a pitch his last time, later scored on the base hit by Cabrera.
Having a pretty good year as Jose Arredondo, just like just about everybody else down in that Reds bullpen. Splitter. He's got one that he has perfected just for left-handers, where he'll split his fingers between his middle finger and his index finger, but he'll grip the seam with the inside of his index finger. When he throws the baseball, he kind of pulls it down with his index finger, trying to make that ball back up for him.
Toward the mound. This is going to be a big out as they get him at first base. And now the infield can move back. You saw the first base umpire down there, Tom Hallion, signaling he dropped the ball after the out. Right there. Just to be sure there's no confusion.
Well, the Reds bullpen has a lot of bragging to do. first in earned runs, wins, strikeouts per 9 innings. Opponent batting average right around 200. Even if you're second right there, you'll take that any day. That's one of the reasons why Dusty Baker not afraid to pick that phone up and get Porky Lopez to get somebody up and loose.
3 of these top 4 hitters in the Tiger lineup are left-handed, and certainly one of the reasons, Chris, that he goes, talking about Dusty, to Arredondo, who does excellent work against lefties. Well,
he's of all the right-handers down there, and of course with Bill Bray still on the disabled list and not able to contribute right yet, Arredondo is your best option other than Sean Marshall. You want to save Marshall for something maybe a little later than the 7th inning. So Arredondo comes in because he's got that splitter, and that's what makes him effective against lefties.
Righties are hitting .220 against him. Lefties, .050. Bosch gets his 3rd hit, and the game is tied as Santiago scores, and it's a 4-4 game.
Well, you saw the one stat will be flashed on the board is the number of walks that Arredondo has, and he's got 14 of them. Well, here in this at-bat, he falls behind 2 balls and no strikes, and he's going to come in with a fastball. And Bosch, as we mentioned earlier, is a very good fastball hitter. He puts the wood to it right back through the middle, and he ties this baby up.
It was 4-0 at the time in favor of the Reds. That was through 3. It's now 4-4 game in the 7th inning. Reds had a lead slip away the other night. They hung on to win, but gave up 4 in the 8th to the Pirates. Let this lead slip away as well. Tigers have not led in this game, but they have their main RBI guys right here. Cabrera now, Fielder next, but there are 2 out. In the air, chased by both outfielders. Heisey in front of the wall, and Heisey makes the catch to retire Cabrera and end the 7th inning. But the Tigers get a run, leave 1, stretch time, tied at 7. Leto certainly deserved better. He's out of the game. It's 4-4 now in the 7th inning. He allowed 4 runs, 3 earned in 6 1/3. 7 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Now the Reds try to get the offense cranked up again. New pitcher in, Dwayne Bilo.
Bilo, left-hander, is going to come into the left-handed part of the Reds lineup. You've got Votto, lefty, Phillips, righty, and then Jay Bruce, a lefty. The only 2 left-handers in the lineup are right here in the middle of it, and Bilo's a guy that's called on to try to get it done. 19 strikeouts, only 3 walks for Bilo.
Votto tonight, 3 for 3. Triple away from the cycle. His blast back in the 3rd made it 4-0 Reds. 10th of the year. That entire lead disappeared now. 4-4 game. Not bad. Votto kind of shortened up there.
Well, they're giving him a base hit if he wants to lay it down to the other side. And Miguel Cairo, or Miguel Cabrera, is pulled way around to a shortstop, and he's smiling at Cabrera right now. You see where Cabrera is. He's the 3rd baseman. So if Votto just bunts it over here, you're giving him a base runner. But do you want Votto bunting? That's the question.
Swings through that one, and now he's down a strike. Bilo gets Votto to start the home 7th. Follow the Reds with the MLB.com at-bat 12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at-bat to 31826 or visit Reds.com for details. Third strikeout for Tiger pitching is Votto to start the 7th. Here's Phillips. Singled in a run in his first time with that swinging bunt, and has grounded out twice since. Velo made his big league debut last year, was the AAA pitcher of the year in the Tigers system a year ago down at Toledo. Fielder near the dugout makes the catch. There are 2 out. Brandon 1 for 4. The batter will be Bruce. Jay at 264 against lefties, which is actually a few percentage points better than he hits against right-handers. Three homers against southpaws. He bats with the bases empty. Shift on him. 3 infielders on the right side, with Young, the second baseman, about 10 yards into right field. Hits it right over Young, the second baseman, and into right. And a base hit for Bruce, a 2-out single, his first hit of the night. That's the go-ahead run on.
Well, he hit a sizzling line drive at the second baseman earlier in the ball game, and he makes a very good pass at that ball. A fastball kind of running up and in on him. He brings his hands inside and gets his foot down. That's the key for Bruce. Get your foot down, keep your right shoulder in, and Reds really need him to swing in the bat like that.
That one is popped up by Ludwig. And the inning is over. So the Bruce hit wasted. Reds just stranded 8. We go to the 8th, all even at 4. St. Louis to take on the Cardinals. Both teams look to keep pace near the top of their respective divisions. Baseball Night in America telecast presented by Budweiser begins tomorrow night at 7 Eastern only on Fox. 8th inning now. 4-4 game. Jose Arredondo back to work. He took over after 6 1/3 worth of work by Matt Latos. Gave up the RBI single to Bosch. He is charged technically with a blown save. He gets Prince Fielder to start the top of the 8th. Fielder's walk, grounded out. Hit that ball into center, which Heisey took a hit away from. So he's 0 for 2 tonight, trying to extend that hitting streak at 14 games. Came in 6th in the league in hitting at .318. Left-hander Phil Koch throwing now in the Tiger bullpen. Joining right-hander Jose Ortega. So lefty-righty combo throwing out beyond the right field wall in the corner. Arredondo gets the big lefty to start the 8th inning with a strikeout.
Big out right there for Jose Arredondo. I mean, he fed him all sorts of different stuff in this at bat. Inside, outside, finally finished him off with a real good splitter. Looks like it's starting on the outer third of the plate. By the time it gets to Ryan Hannigan, it's a good 6 or 7 inches outside.
Fielder playing in his 53rd game in this ballpark.
Yeah, you're really feeding on his aggressiveness when he chases a pitch like that. And you know Fielder's not up there in this ballpark to walk.
He's at 11 home runs career-wise in this park. The only one in which he has hit more is Minute Maid down in Houston, where he's hit 14 in terms of opposition ballpark. That one is blasted by Delvin Young, and the Tigers have taken their first lead of the night. 5th of the year by Young, and it's 5-4 Detroit.
Delvin Young, who used to hang around Synergy Field at age 13, 14, used to take batting practice occasionally with the Reds when he'd come up and visit with his brother Dimitri. That was back when Bob Boone was managing, and he goes down to pick on a just above the knee little splitter right there and gives that baby a long ride. Man, he's got some power.
Now Bilo, the pitcher, will bat for himself.
Take a look at the swing of Delvin Young right there, and it looks a lot like Joey Votto in as much as he keeps his eyes right on it here. He's got a nice straight front leg, but the key to hitting that little splitter that Jose Arredondo throws up there is not to be fooled by the arm speed, because the idea is, for Arredondo's purpose, is to make it look like it's a fastball coming, but fool him with the break of the pitch and with the arm speed, and he wasn't fooled one bit.
Bilo bounces out. That goes 3-1, and that's the first big league at bat for the pitcher Bilo. 2 men out. And measure that home run ball of Delvin Young's at 441 feet. Here's Laird with 2 men out. Delvin Young acquired just under a year ago in the middle of August last year from Minnesota. a dozen home runs last year. Back in 2007, he finished second to Dustin Pedroia of Boston for the American League Rookie of the Year. His home run has given the Tigers a 5-4 lead. Pirates, by the way, have won at home tonight over Kansas City 4-2. Cardinals are trailing 4-0 at home to the Indians in the 6th inning. Laird has a pair of hits tonight, 2 out of 3. Chance for Bruce. This should end the inning. And it does. But a Delman Young home run, his 5th of the year, has given the Tigers their first lead of the night, heading to the bottom of the 8th. Showing some range going to his left. That ball took a tricky hop on Cozart, but he made a nice recovery there. Phillips, as per usual, Heisey one more time. Reds came into tonight's game along with Arizona and Philadelphia tied for the best defensive percentage in the National League, and they've committed the fewest errors in the National League. They have committed one tonight, a throwing error by Hannigan on that stolen base. Just their 30th of the year. Below back to work here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Cairo gets a base hit to start the bottom of the 8th into left center. He takes a big turn but stays put. Boy, Cairo had really been laboring as of lately. But he gets the hit to start the 8th.
Second time he's been on base tonight. That's exactly what you need, is to get a little offensive momentum going after really not mounting much of a threat since the 3rd inning. That was when Joey Votto hit that 3-run bomb.
So the tying run on, the go-ahead run, and Hannigan comes to the plate. Throw Hannigan out. It's a sacrifice. Fielder takes the throw. It's a 1-3 sack. The tying run in scoring position with 1 out. Tigers did make some defensive changes that last half inning. Matt Young, who had been at second base, moves to right. Danny Worth is now at second base, and Brennan Bosch out of the game.
Well, Jimmy Leland has not lost a knack of National League managing, has he?
That's for sure.
Double switches, defensive replacements. Here he is coming out to the mound, presumably to make a pitching change.
Reds have Frazier, who was scratched from the starting lineup due to back spasms in the bullpen, and he is there now. And the Tigers make a pitching change. New man into the game. One of the 3 that have been hit out of the ballpark here tonight. First, Joey Votto. That made it a 4-0 game Reds in the 3rd. And this one by Bosch got the Tigers on the board. And the aforementioned blast of 440-plus feet by Delman Young. His 5th of the year has given Detroit the 5-4 lead. Now 54 straight games, which a home run has been hit here at Great American Ballpark.
pitcher is Jose Ortega, and he's making his major league debut. The right-hander up from Toledo, where he walked a batter for every inning that he pitched. So I hope that Todd Frazier's got the scout report on this guy. He's got an explosive fastball. I mean, he throws it nearly triple digits when he cuts it loose, but he's not always so sure of the zip code.
Heck of a time to make your debut in this pressure situation, isn't it? Frazier, in fact, who started the year down at Louisville, may have faced Ortega down there when he was a mud hen and Frazier was a bat. Just called up 2 days ago from the Mud Hens this past Wednesday. In the left field by Frazier. He's been a very good pinch hitter this year, and he'll tie this game with a 2-base hit. Cairo scores 5-5 as Todd Frazier comes up with a pinch hit double. He's now 6 for 7 as a pinch hitter in 2012.
Man, oh man, he was betting the ranch. He was getting a fastball, and he got one, and he handled it. Right down Broadway it comes on a 2-0 count. Pow! He sat out of tonight's game as a starter with back spasms. He just gave Jim Leland some back spasms with that shot.
Lone save for Ortega. First batter he faces in the big leagues. Frazier gets the RBI double. Frazier safe at second, safe and secure.
New York life.
Now the Reds are a hit away from regaining the lead. Try to shut this thing down in the top of the ninth. Almost a major collision out there as the new second baseman Worth and Matt Young have moved out to right field. Darn near collided. Worth caught that ball. Out number 2. So now Heisey, 1 for 4 in this game. Hit would give the Reds the lead. Should the Reds take the lead in this game, Logan Ondrusek is up. He's joined by Sam LeCure out in the bullpen. Ondrusek does have 2 saves this year. Cabrera diving. Is he going to get up in time? Safe the call at first base. Hustling all the way is Heisey. Over to third is Cozart, and the inning is still alive for Joey Votto.
Well, Cabrera's made some very fine plays at third base for a guy that is better suited for first. He's made a nice backhand. Chris Heisey might be one of the faster runners on this Reds ball club. The only reason that Cabrera is not able to throw him out is Heisey's speed.
Got a situation down there. Todd Frazier and somebody on the mound doing some jawing. Now the third base umpire Ed Hickox is over there. Try to find out more about what's going on down there. When we come back after this, new pitcher on, Phil Cope. New pitcher of the game is Phil Coke is the 5th pitcher used by the Tigers. They'll get Votto, the lefty-lefty matchup. It really doesn't bother Joey at all. First and third, 2 out, 5-5 game. Reds have amassed 14 hits now tonight.
Boy, just amazing numbers for Joey Votto. The measure of consistency, batting .323 against lefties.
Buckles on that breaking ball for a strike.
You may have seen a shot of Phil Coke right before he went to break, running in from the bullpen. I mean, he was in a dead sprint from that Tigers bullpen. I'm not so sure I would be running in there that hard to try to get ready to face Joey Votto.
A la Todd Coffey.
Well, the two left-handers have looked pretty good against Votto tonight. They brought in Dwayne Belo. He struck out Votto on fastballs, flew 2 of them right by the Reds' first baseman upstairs. And in this at-bat, Votto looks a little bit confused by that breaking ball that Phil Coke's firing up there.
Reds have scored 1 to tie. Now look to take the lead.
Votto shorting up a little bit.
Another breaking ball and a strikeout. And the lefty Coke does his job getting Votto. The Reds lead 2 and have stranded 10. We're all even going into the 9th.
Yelling at Frazier, saying, "Go ahead." He kind of took exception, and of course, once you get to know Todd Frazier, he couldn't possibly ever be angry at Todd.
So that was the exchange going on there. Now new pitcher on, Sam LeCure, as we enter the 9th inning. Sam will get 8, 9, and 1. Santiago, Matt Young, and Quentin Berry. Trying to keep it a 5-5 game, trying to give his mates the opportunity in the bottom of the 9th to win it with a run. Votto, boy, he's guarding first base there big time, and in on the grass at third is Cairo. Santiago had a hit his last trip. He's 1 for 3. I mean, Votto is practically standing on first base.
Dropped that little curveball right at the very top end of the strike zone right there. Hannigan holds it. Mark Carlson gives him the call.
So here's Matt Young batting for the 3rd time. Pinch hit, had the double in the 6th, struck out in the 7th. He was the last man to face Matt Latos. It was Young who was at the plate when he struck out. Santiago took off, stole second. When the ball short hopped off the glove of Cozart into the outfield, Santiago hustled over to third. Then 2 batters later scored on a hit by Brennan Bosch. Quentin Berry waits on deck, representing the top of the Detroit order. Sam is getting those close pitch calls right now, isn't he?
Well, his control is so good that Brian Hannigan really doesn't have to move very much. That's one reason behind the plate when you throw to Ryan Hannigan, you notice how still he is back there. And he does never give the umpire an idea that he's lunging for the baseball. Always seems to be catching the ball, bringing it back into the strike zone while he does it.
Got him. Boy, he is sharp tonight. Sam LeCure looking of Santiago, now looking of Mad Young.
Well, this is a tough pitch to throw for a right-hander right there. The one that has enough comeback action on it that you can fool him on the inside, or to a left-handed hitter, you fool him on the inside part of the plate. The old front door fastball.
The 2 out. Here's Quentin Berry.
I think if there was one pitch that I could teach a young right-handed pitcher to throw, and if you could teach him how to do it, that would be the pitch. You'd have enough action on that fastball to control both sides of the plate with it.
Well, we see Mike Leake throw that.
Of course, one that made Greg Maddux maybe one of the best pitchers of our generation.
Sure.
That was the pitch that really made him. That and about 3 other ones that he could control perfectly.
Here's Quentin Berry, 0 for 3, hit by a pitch, scored a run back in the 6th. 5-5 game, Reds Tigers, first game of the series. Reds in their 9th will have Phillips, Bruce, and Ludwig, any one of them. And end the game with 1 swing of the bat. If LeCure puts up a 0 here in the top of the 9th. Now he has Berry set up. Quentin Berry played in the Reds minor league organization last year, spent most of the year at their Double-A Carolina club. Limited amount of time. AAA Louisville, signed with the Tigers as a free agent this year. Now getting an opportunity due to the injury to Jackson out in center field for Detroit. Tried to get Berry there just like he did Santiago and Young, but missed inside.
Quentin Berry, a young man who grew up in San Diego, idolizing Tony Gwynn. In fact, he ended up going to San Diego State University, where Tony Gwynn was the coach.
Pretty good guy to idolize right there.
Kind of a slap hitter. Learned a lot from Gwynn, obviously, but got to go a long, long way to get that kind of talent.
It looked like Mark Carlson flinched there, didn't it?
He's not the only one. I think number 12 flinched too. Good call.
LeCure will deliver a full count pitch here to Quentin Berry. Phillips inning over. LeCure does his job. A 1-2-3 ninth. Sam gets Santiago and Young looking back to back. Gets Berry on the ground ball. Well, stage is set in this one before a sellout crowd of over 38,000. And with 2,100 special guest of Reds program tickets available, also over 40,000 in the house tonight. They'd love to see a Reds run in the bottom of the 9th. Get them set up for the big Rossi's fireworks show to come later on.
Hey, what a great night at the ballpark. The weather is perfect. The crowd has been into it. They've been treated to such a great ball game. Tomorrow night's ball game, I believe, already a sellout.
Yep.
There are tickets available for Sunday.
Although not a whole lot.
And you better get him. And then the Indians come to town. So what a great weekend at the beginning of next week for some Reds baseball. I'd like to send a crowd home happy right here with a win in the 9th inning.
Brandon Phillips 1 for 4. RBI single in the first. That swinging bunt hit. Lefty Koch came on, did his job in the bottom of the 8th, getting Votto on 3 pitches.
He got them all on sliders. It'll be interesting to see how he pitches to Phillips.
Brandon 6 home runs on the year.
For a fastball, got one after 2 changeups that missed outside. Brandon was letting it loose on that little low and in fastball that Phil Koch fired up there.
Handled by Cabrera, and the long throw gets Phillips at first. 4 out, number 1. It's that no doubles defense right there.
Cabrera's made some nice plays down there. I mean, he's got a very strong arm. There was some question when the Tigers signed Prince Fielder exactly how Cabrera would handle going over to third base. I mean, he's played there before. He's played left field. He's played third base. When he was with the Marlins, he was a fine third baseman. But he'd become accustomed to playing first. But he said, hey, if you can get a guy like Prince Fielder, I'll be glad to move to third.
Let's see if Koch attacks Bruce like he did Votto.
So far, yes. And this is where, well, Jay Bruce really has to tell himself, concentrate. Left field, left field. I'm going to take everything he throws me to left field. Just trying to sense that that catcher has moved way into the outside part of the strike zone.
Jay tonight 1 for 3 with an intentional walk. A base hit his last time. That was in the 7th. 5-5 game, bottom of the 9th. Ludwig next. Has a long run for this ball, but he will get there for out number 2. Well, he didn't want anything hit over his head. He was way out there.
I mean, these outfielders were just about backs to the warning track out there. The corner infielders on the lines, they were definitely playing the prevent defense, and they'll go right back to that defense. The outfielders very deep.
Phillips grounds out. Bruce flies out. Here's Ludwig 1 for 4. A double back in the 3rd. Cairo had a base hit his last time. Waits near the Reds on deck circle. Ludwig trying to keep this thing going in the bottom of the ninth. 2-2. Down on strikes. What a great job by Phil Coke. He came on and retired Votto, and then in order in the bottom of the ninth. So for the second night in a row, extra innings. Second night in a row for Cincinnati in extra frames. They lost last night in 10-5-4. So the Reds on a 2-4 record in extra innings this year. The Tigers 1-1, but they have not played an extra inning game since the 22nd of April, closing in, well, about 6 or 7 weeks ago. Sam LeCure, who had a perfect ninth, back to the mound here in the 10th. It's Danny Worth, who took over at second base inning ago, bat for the first time. Bruce is there, 1 pitch, 1 out. Worth came in hitting just 190. So LeCure has faced 4, retired 4. Now you get to the big 2. Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder. We talked about the 3-4 hitters in their lineup right at the start of the broadcast. Maybe the 2 most dangerous that we'll see all year out of these 2 spots. Cabrera 1 for 4. His 2-run single back in the 6th brought the Tigers within 1 at that time at 4-3. Second in the American League with 51 runs batted in, behind Josh Hamilton.
Well, if you watch the style of Miguel Cabrera, you can't help but notice a similarity to Joey Votto. Both these guys are very good breaking ball hitters. They stay inside the ball. In fact, Cabrera is one guy who reminds you of Votto because he hits the ball nearly right out of the catcher's mitt. Sometimes it seems like almost the ball is by him and he's able still to get the bat on it. He waits so long before he commits. Of course, the longer you wait, the easier it is to hit the outside pitch. He's about as deep in the batter's box as you can get.
And there's no line there any longer. Of course, it's been gone a while. First things I guess those hitters who stand so deep do is to make sure that line disappears.
Well, either that or the leadoff hitter is told by those hitters that stand deep, go up there in the first batter and just go ahead and erase that line, will you? As long as it's not too flagrant, umpires really won't say anything about it.
Bruce charging near the line, on the run and in foul ground, and he can't get it. Full count now to Miguel Cabrera. Fielder waiting on deck. Got him.
Boy, Sam LeCure makes a 91-mile-an-hour fastball seem like a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. Just a little bit of extra at the very end right there, and he throws it right by one of the best hitters in baseball. Gets his foot down. He thinks he's on it, but that ball is by him.
Third strikeout for LeCure in an inning and 2/3. Now 7 in the game for Reds pitchers.
He looks extremely sharp tonight. No time to let down now, though.
Fielder 0 for 2 lifetime against LeCure. In this game, 0 for 3 with a walk. Been 6 days since Sam worked. He worked down in Houston on June the 2nd. Went 2 innings. Before that, he went 2 innings against Colorado. He can get through this frame. This will be his 3rd straight 2-inning outing. And he just missed with both those pitches.
You're right about that. When he misses, it's not by much. I mean, by a whisker.
Ludwig is there. What great work turned in by Sam LeCure. 6 up, 6 down. Fly out Worth. Strikeout Cabrera. Fly out Fielder. A run will win it. Bottom of the 10th. Coming up Saturday, June the 23rd, head to Great American Ballpark for Hall of Fame induction night. Arrive early for a pregame on-field induction ceremony. Plus, the first 25,000 fans to the gates receive a Sean Casey bobblehead thanks to PNC Bank. Then cheer on your Reds when they take on the Twins. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or Reds.com.
Well, Logan Ondrusek is up in the Reds bullpen. Don't know if he will be the next pitcher, whether he's just warming up in case for Sam LeCure, but more than likely with LeCure already having gone a couple of innings, his very fine work for the night is done. And Phil Koch will come back out. He's already pitched an inning and a third, and one thing that he has done so far on a night, Jim, is he's kept that slider of his down. I mean, it has been knee high or below just about every time he's thrown it. There it is again.
Cairo had a hit last time, snapping a 1 for 24 drought. Trying to get on to start the bottom of the 10th. And he does as he shoots it down the right field line. And that's going to be extra base as it rolls along the wall and away from the right fielder, Matt Young. And Cairo is going to end up at third with a stand-up triple.
Miguel Cairo, the oldest guy on the field at 38 years old. He said, I'm feeling young tonight. He goes with it down the line and kind of shoots around the corner. It gets away from Matt Young. And that enables Cairo, who looks over his shoulder just as he's getting to second base up there, and he says, hey, you know what? I think I can make it to third. Chugging and puffing and chugging and puffing.
Turned it into another gear right there when he saw Young kind of misplay that ball. Looked like he got too close to the wall, didn't it, out there? First triple of the year for Cairo. Now Hannigan.
Well, here's the situation. You've got to bring the infield all the way in. You have to bring the outfield in far enough that whatever they can catch, they think that they can get Cairo out at the plate. And now you've got one of the best contact hitters in the league up in Ryan Hannigan. So even just a lazy fly ball right here sends everybody home happy.
A 5-5 game. Reds trying to win the first game of this 3-game set against Detroit. Ball and a strike. Wilson Valdez is on deck. Lead-off triple by Cairo. Offensively, he really hadn't done much at all this year. Missed some time with that hamstring injury. He has come through with a pair of hits tonight.
Everybody's on their feet here.
Over 40,000 on this Friday night, including you, on their feet. So is Jimmy Leland in the Tiger dugout. Hoping the Reds can maintain their 2-game lead over the Pirates in the Central Division. Runner will stay put. Cabrera throws out Hannigan, out number 1.
Big out.
Now Wilson Valdez off the Reds bench will hit for LeCure.
Boy, if I'm Jimmy Leland, I've got to be thinking at some point in this at bat, Dusty Baker just may want to put the suicide squeeze on. So if you're Leland, what do? How often do you pitch out? Do you pitch out? Do you try to sniff this thing out one way or another? This is a battle of wits now between Leland and Dusty Baker.
Well, Valdez is an excellent bunter. We saw him win a spring training game with a squeeze bunt against the White Sox.
I just remember that if the squeeze bunt is executed properly, there is no defense for it.
Right.
But the only thing that you can do to thwart it is a pitch out. If you throw it far enough out that the batter can't reach it.
There's the bunt. Here comes the runner. Here's the shuffle home. Save! Reds win it. Valdez with the bunt. That was not the squeeze, more like the safety squeeze. But Valdez got it down on the right side, and crossing the plate was Cairo, and the Reds win it 6-5. As Wilson Valdez shows great bat control with the bunt winner.
Well, a jubilant crowd here at Great America Ballpark. Wilson Valdez, Miguel Cairo, the 2 bomb squatters, combined for the run. Prince Fielder thinks that they may have him at the plate, but the underhand pitch by Fielder, he did all he could do. But how about that head first around the shin guard slide by Cairo? And everybody's happy in that Reds dugout.
There's the bunt. And you can see that Cairo did not take off until he made sure that the bunt was down. That's the difference between the suicide and the safety squeeze. Dusty's reaction. They get the better of the Tigers in the first game of this series. Let's go downstairs with Jeff Porcaro has a guest out on the field.
Thanks a lot, Jim. I'm here with Wilson Valdez. And Wilson, everybody in the stands, everybody in the stadium knew at some point you might try to put that butt down, and you absolutely executed it perfectly, didn't you?
I mean, that situation, I want to take the win right there. I saw Fielder play kind of give me the bunt. I decided to do it myself, and this thing just worked.
I know this has been a tough go for you guys this season, especially for you. You probably played as little as anybody off the bench, but a consummate professional. And every time you've been called on, you've been able to come through. You keep yourself ready every day, don't you?
Yeah, always. I come to the ballpark with the mind that I'm going to play. In any situation the Dottie need me, I'm going to be ready. That's why I always prepare for the game.
How big of a win was this for you guys? You have a packed house here. Everybody's on their feet. It's extra innings. You just went extra innings last night, too. This was a big victory for you, wasn't it?
Yes, of course. We have to take the series here. The first game is important to us. We've been playing kind of like in and out, but I think we find a way, and hopefully we keep doing it.
And Wilson, finally, you have to be happy for Miguel Cairo. He spent a month on the DL with the hamstring injury. 38 years old, and he's able to leg out that triple. That was pretty neat, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course. He's a good player, you know. And you have to have like guy on the bench who, when we had an opportunity to play, we can do the best and help the team to win.
Well, congratulations on a great victory.
Thank you.
Thanks. Wilson Valdez tonight. Boy, what an absolute beautiful job. Everyone knows what's going on, but he still puts it down. So the Reds are winners, and stay with us when we come back. Reds Live, the post-game edition, coming up.